Hey everyone, it's me, Fiona Jane, aka Dr. Hikaru, and again, I'm not really a doctor, so anything I say, it's based on my own experience and my own research that I've done. So please don't go saying Dr. Hikaru said this, because I'm not a doctor. So it's November 11th, happy Veterans Day. The topic of today's video is this weekend I celebrated, for lack of a better word, my second year anniversary of being diagnosed with endometriosis. So my first surgery was November 8th, 2012 in Reno, Nevada, and Dr. Pamela Netishell had performed a laparoscopic surgery on me and determined that I had endometriosis when she removed diseased tissue from between my colon and my uterus. At the time I was only stage 1. And I thought that, my answers were finally solved. A year ago I had posted, hey, I'm a survivor. I had my first and hopefully my only and last laparoscopic surgery. Unfortunately that wasn't true. I had my second laparoscopic surgery April 3rd this year, 2014. And I had moved from stage 1 endometriosis to stage 3 endometriosis, and I was also diagnosed with stage 1 adenomyosis and interstitial cystitis. So this video I wanted to kind of talk about what I've learned in the last 2 years of having endometriosis. I was going to wait until I had more time to think about it, but it's really been on my mind. I kind of had an emotional weekend talking about it to some friends, and I didn't think it would be a big deal, and until I just realized what has happened in the last 2 years and how having endometriosis has changed my life. The first thing, endometriosis does not define me. I have it. It's a huge freaking part of my life. But it is not the only part of me. It is a big part of me. But I am not only my disease, and I encourage all my endo sisters, no matter how bad it is, to remember that this disease does not define us. We define ourselves. And it means a couple things. Yeah, I have heightened emotions, but that doesn't mean I'm crazy. That doesn't mean I'm over emotional. That just means when I feel an emotion, I feel it every sense of my being, and if I'm sad, it takes sad to another level, but I'm not just sad for no reason. Does that make sense? I was thinking about this the other day, that people will call me over emotional, and I'm like, you know what, the truth is, one thing endometriosis has also taught me is to analyze my own emotions. Do you know how dumb you feel sometimes analyzing your emotions when you go, am I sad? Is it depression sad? Should I be sad? Is this hormonal sad? I don't think normal people go through that. When you're trying to analyze, what are your next steps? I've been sad for a while. Is it because I've got a lot of saddening things happening to me? Am I overreacting because I'm heightened emotion state right now? Or is it because I need to talk to the doctor about being depressed because I've been in this state a little too long? I don't think people realize these are the type of thoughts that go through our heads. So the first thing I learned was endometriosis does not define me. The second thing, the most important thing, okay, maybe not the most important thing, but everything every endo sister needs to know, and everybody who deals with somebody who has endometriosis. Doctors don't always know what they're talking about. They really don't. If you have endometriosis and you are not talking to an endo specialist, an excision specialist, you probably don't have the right information. You're probably being told a lot of things that aren't true. And it's really sad because we rely on our doctors when we aren't feeling well to help us move through what we're going through. And when a doctor gives you a whole bunch of BS, and that's all you have because you're in a small town or you have no idea what the fuck's going on with you, it's really sad. So there's a lot of research out there, and again, some of it's more current than others. Some of it may not apply to you. So with endometriosis, the third thing you need to know, one of the things that I've learned, they're really not in numerical order, so to say, but the third thing I'm going to talk about is every woman with endometriosis has different symptoms. Some may also have an autoimmune disease combined with it. Some may be like me and develop adenomyosis. That is not true for all cases. Some may have minimal pain, lots of shit going on that's wrong inside of them. Some may not. Some may have ovarian cysts. Some may have fibroids. Every single woman's case is different. So you cannot tell somebody with endometriosis, oh, I know somebody who had endometriosis and she was able to give birth to kids just fine. You mean well, but sometimes it gives false hope. Because every single case of endometriosis is different, and every woman has different set of symptoms, and that's one reason why it's so freaking hard to diagnose. Depression, and an endo sister may have depression. An endometriosis sister may also be diagnosed with bipolar. An endometriosis sister may have, like I said, fibroids. She may also have lupus. She may also have GERD. There's so many things when your body is like ravaged like us that you need to start looking at the different factors. Some endo sisters work well with a diet. Some don't. Some found that for whatever reason cutting red meat out of their diet works wonders. Some, like me, saw nothing. So the three things I covered: endo does not define you. Doctors are not always right, and every single woman's case of endo is different. I mean, those are three things to take home, really. Another thing I've learned is people mean well. Most people have the best intentions for you, but when you hear a lot of stuff when you have endo, sometimes you need to realize that what people tell you about your disease tells you more about them than it does about you. I lived with roommates who called me lazy, told me that, you know, because her boyfriend, one of the guys I was living with, had broken ribs, that he deals with pain just fine. I need to kind of basically suck it up. And I tried explaining to them at the time that typical house chores tire me out, like cleaning and laundry. And I had a messy room because I would choose to conserve my energy. What they said about my disease really said more about them than it did about me. I'm not a lazy person. I work hard, and I'm good at what I do for my job. The fact that I was working from my bed did not mean that I was lazy, that I just putzed on the internet all day. I am an IT professional. I work on my computer, and you know what? I did not let my disease take away my standard of living to where I wasn't going to work. Okay, sure, some days it really did, but I was coping. And the fact that they said such hateful things, such rude things about me, and other people who say that, you're over emotional, it's all in your head, these are things that you should not internalize. You really shouldn't. It says more about the other person than it says about you. Gosh, I just had my next thought and then I ran with this one. And then I can't remember what I was going to say. The days you can't doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't. I am not weak because I could not get out of bed. I'm weak. I'm not weak. You may think that the day you can't get out of bed, you're weak. Your body's in a weakened state, don't get me wrong, but you are not weak. It's okay to be not okay. I've said this many times before. You are fighting a battle. I am fighting a battle. And some days when I stay in bed, that is all I can do, and that's okay. If I'm in bed, it's not because I'm not trying. Don't. You know, I recently started CrossFit again. And there are days when my nausea has come back, and it's so bad that I won't go to CrossFit. And I never, I go to CrossFit with a bunch of guys. And they know not to make fun of me that, oh, she's lazy, that's the reason why she didn't go to CrossFit. Oh, fuck you, no. I have endometriosis, I have adenomyosis, I have supreme nausea, I'm on Zofran. I'm not making excuse to not work out. I just am choosing not to. Which brings me to my next point. Another thing I learned about endo is in the now. What does that mean? It means living in the now. Being able to look at my needs in the now. And for somebody like me who likes to plan things, that's kind of hard. It means that I end up doing a lot more things last minute. Not because I don't want to commit, but because I hate being the flaky person. So I'll know about 3 or 4 different things going on in the weekend. I won't commit to any of them, and I live in the now. Am I able to go to this event now? What can I do now for myself? Is it stay in bed right now? Is that my most important need because I'm tired? Is it lying down? You know, what in the now, what can I do to give myself that quality of life? Not thinking about the later, not thinking about, well, if I don't do this, this is going to happen. It's thinking about the now. So I know I fly out on Sundays. I know I have to pack. In the now means thinking, is now a good time for me to pack? Yeah, I think so. Or maybe now is not a good time to pack. Now is the time to sit on the couch and watch TV and relax and think about it tomorrow. It will get done. I mean, I'm pretty good about knowing what has to get done and doing it. So that's what I mean about in the now, giving myself the now, giving myself the chance to take care of myself. Self-care is in the now. And that's a really important thing for me. And it's gotten me through a lot of hard times. Another thing that I have learned with endometriosis is don't feel bad talking about your disease. Don't. I was talking to my older brother about how I'm probably going to have a hysterectomy because my adenomyosis is causing more symptoms lately and I have to deal with it more than I'd like to. And he was just kind of like, don't be saying stuff like that out loud. And I'm sitting here going, okay, this is one of those things where it says more about you than it does about me. I'm not embarrassed that my uterus is diseased. I did not choose this. I did not wake up one day and decided I wanted to have endometriosis, adenomyosis, or any of the other crap I deal with. So I don't feel embarrassed talking about my disease. I don't talk about it as much as I used to because I'm always in pain. I'm always in a sense of mild discomfort or not. The level of pain I'm in varies. And whether I need to mention that I'm in pain does, because I have become acclimated to it. When you have chronic pain, when you don't have it, you don't know when you're going to have it. But the truth is these days I'm usually in some sort of discomfort. Can I push through it or not is the question. Am I going to mention it, and is it worth mentioning that I'm in a discomfort level? I'm always feeling bloated these days. I'm always feeling gaseous with my adenomyosis, whether it's the week I skip my period or not. It's just how it is lately. How I deal with that, when I talk about it, it means that it's worth talking about now. Well, it's always worth talking about, that's the truth, but it means that it merits me needing to talk about it, needing to talk about what's going on with me. And I don't feel embarrassed to say when I am going through depression, mental illness, physical illness, invisible illnesses. You should never be ashamed that you have these things. It is just part of my life now. It is part of who I am, whether I like it or not. And I'm not going to feel embarrassed because I have it. And if I'm talking about it, and you know, there are different types of people who ask you about how you're doing. There's the type that say it for a small conversation, and there's the type that really say it because they want to really truly understand how you're doing and what they can do to help you. And the last thing I'm going to talk about in this video, because I didn't want it to be overly long, is the people you interact with. It's not just about what they say. You're never going to understand what I have unless you have endometriosis. And like I said, everybody's story is different. So you may not understand all aspects of my disease, but you can understand parts of it. But that doesn't mean if you don't have endometriosis, you don't know what I'm going through. That's an unfair statement to make. There are enough people out there who have sympathized and given me the support I needed and comforted me who did not have endometriosis. And there's also a certain type of comfort I get when my endo sisters reach out to me and we talk about our shared disease. But endometriosis, I found when talking about it with those in your circle, there are those who want to understand it but just can't. For whatever reason, whatever mental block is there, they can't. But they sympathize with you and they want to hear about your disease, and you should not give up on the people who want to but can't. It just doesn't click for people. It doesn't click that I had a surgery and I'm not fixed. I'm going to have another surgery. Or maybe if I got off the birth control, I would feel better about myself, and yada, yada, yada. Don't give up on those people, but also don't spend your time focusing on those people. Some of them will turn around. Some of them will end up learning in whatever way, or coming to terms with whatever you have, and be there for you. My parents were that way. They weren't there for me on my first surgery. They were there for me on my second. And they took the time to educate themselves, which was more than I could have asked for. So I'm glad I didn't give up on them. Part of me almost didn't want them at my second surgery because I was so vulnerable already, and I'm really glad I let them in. Other people may not be able to understand what you're going through because they are going through their own inner demons. Again, what people say about your disease isn't always about you. Sometimes it's about them. Anyway, I'm a survivor. I made it through 2 years of endometriosis. I'm kind of curious to see what my outlook is going to be in a year again. Thank you everyone for all your support. I've been getting messages from different endo sisters, and again, I love hearing your story. I'm glad my videos help you. I'm glad people find comfort in my videos. And I'm hoping that everybody has lots of spoons today, and everyone has a great day, and you're feeling better. Earlier I was struggling with a super bloated belly and pain that came with it, and a sense of nausea, and it's finally calmed down. Yay! Anyway, I want to keep this video under 20 minutes. It's now 16:40. So thanks everybody for your help. Thanks everyone for your support. Thank you for being with me on my journey, and hang in there. All right, we've got this. I'm here for you if you're an endo sister and you ever want to talk about some of the pains. I've 2 years, and I know other people have been living with a lot longer. Anyway, take care. Bye.